Chuggalos, welcome back to day 14 of the 2025 Brew Crew Podcast Advent Calendar in conjunction with our homies from the Barrel House. And day 14 is going to prove to be somewhat of an enigma when we go to the website review and get all of that. But I would be remiss, there's two big things that happened yesterday. First and foremost, we did our Carriage House Blow Out with the Numbskull 2016. Go check that out. It's a little over 2 hours, but boy, there is a lot of sweet information, insider knowledge, and just a couple of dudes talking about beer to unpack on that episode. So, hit that one up on YouTube. But number two, and the one thing you'll always, whether you've been a Chuggalo for 2 minutes or 8 years, is one, believe in your gimmicks, and two, I'm a gigantic wrestling fan, and yesterday was a rather big / significant day in the history of wrestling with John Cena's last match coming from Washington, D.C. He did go out as one would as a legend in the wrestling business. He tapped out to Gunther, so Gunther will have all of that heat coming onto him, especially as we go into WrestleMania season, and John Cena goes out with probably one of the best send-offs I've ever seen in the world of professional wrestling, and being a fan for well over 35 years. Beer number 14 is Epochal L'Or de Barasseur, which is a 5.5% Farmhouse ale. And this was, they got us a little early, but this thing, it's a couple of days isn't going to hurt it at all. This was bottled on Halloween in preparation for the Advent Calendar build 2025. And if you want to be there in 2026, November 6th, mark your calendars, write it down. But we're going to go with the crack on this one. No one joining me today. So I like that. I'm going to be able to reminisce and get this one out. It's going to be great. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I did throw that one a couple days ago, and luckily I stepped on it in the middle of the night, so my foot found it before the vacuum cleaner found it. I've got a gilded glass Delirium also, and look at that. I was expecting a straw pail. A lot of thoughts on the Numbskull. We'll go into that, but as I've learned in previous episodes, make sure. Ooh, that is funky, tart. Hopefully the taste follows what's on the nose. Tartness, funk. Okay. I'm super thirsty. I've had that out for about 35 minutes, so it's not ice cold. The one takeaway, it's kind of a one note. Interesting. Let's check out the scores. The scores I do have. Also, I'd be remiss. Somebody took the name or the sheet out, the sheet that Gimmick Gus made. Actually, this is going to be a great conversation point. Took this sheet out for Kate's, and notice the Axemen, but carrying. We are not affiliated with ICP or the Chuggalos. Chuggalos just happens to be a fun name, but not affiliated. Don't worry, not Chuggalos. If you do like ICP and enjoy that, that's your own thing. We're not yucking, but not affiliated. We don't live that lifestyle, the Fago lifestyle or anything like that. So, but Fago does make some delicious pop. So I haven't had one in a while. But all right, let's go with the scores. I just disclaimer on that one. All right, so we have a couple of them. So keep in mind that AleSmith Bourbon Barrel Aged Old Numbskull, which was my pick, 11% barley wine. JT gave it a 5. I gave it a 4.25. Mikey has not rated it. Kate did not rate it yet. 3.5 from Sethicus. He said something that's very poignant. He believed that the alcohol ate through a lot of the flavors that were going to be there, and it muted all of it. So I thought I was going to spotlight that. That was a very apt statement. Better Matt with a 4.25. Stev with a 4.25. Phil with a 4. I think I have that right. I know JT gave it a 5. And then the only other score, because Don and Aaron are going to catch up with us. Bobby gave it a 0.25. Yes, you can go in 0.25 increments. He would have gave another 0.25, but he thought the lowest he could go was 0.5. And then Witt gave it a 4.25 also, because it's still on tap with our homies down at the Barrel House. All right. it's a light drinker for being a farmhouse. That working hand that got brought up a lot yesterday. I know Stev has said it in a previous video when we were talking about maybe the perennial. I think it was the perennial, like the working man's beer, back historically hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But let's go to the website review. This is where things start getting interesting because I like to do, website review gives us something to talk about. Start thinking about where all of these thoughts and ideas came from. Here, let's see if I can raise that. It says it's temporarily closed. So I've got a couple of websites open to kind of look at this. So temporarily closed. And if I go to their Shopify, like where you buy this store is currently unavailable. So that's interesting. And the other website that I had was their, right here. This domain is for sale. So is it just Instagram? I don't have an Instagram account. I apologize. But some really cool pictures. This is my second Epochal, sorry, Stacy, beer. I did have one earlier this year. A bottle that was picked off the shelf by Maya, I believe. It was either Maya or Gimmick Gus down with her friends at the Barrel House. So then I went to Beer Advocate to learn a little bit more about him. Being from Scotland, makes beer with a sense of place, whether it's through our use of local barley, unique house microflora, or special Scottish water. Is fermented with Saccharomyces culture and open fermenters, so open air fermenters, not like an oak forter, before a long slow fermentation in wood with our house strain of Brettanomyces creates an imitable, complex, delicious flavors, which were once common in Scottish beer. So then I went to Untapped. People are still drinking it, so it's still out there, 6 December of this month. 6 December. So people are just drinking this beer too, Mr. Mascalino. Hint is tartness, but not too much. So I'm wondering maybe Gus knows a little bit more. Maybe the Gimmick can give us more. All right, this beer. Funk on the nose with a little bit of tartness. I pulled that out, but it's inversed on the palate, where it's mostly that tartness, but there's a little bit of funk. So those are the two massive qualities for that beer that resonate with me. Really easy drinker. Like, if this is your style, I would like to have this next to, with the red wheat saison and that nectar with the Brett. Because I was expecting a little bit more of this, doing a little bit more research, trying to get to the website. So it didn't catch me off guard like it did with the nectar from Anchorage on day 10. Man, I like this beer better than I liked the previous two beers, which was that perennial and Anchorage. So both saisons, but in that same family, if you will. I'm going to try to finish this off. So I think my score is going to reflect that. Off the top rope, man, is one enough? Like, I'm a little sad that I don't have more of this, but I'm definitely going to be much more happy with this beer compared to the previous iterations of this like family of beers. Off the top rope, I'm going to give this a 4. What could it do better? That tartness feels like it's right. Maybe some more of that lingering or some more of that funk on the palate rather than just on the nose. I don't know how I would do that. Like, I don't know, like, if it's opaque but pale. Still lightly carbonated. Obviously, I'm not giving a lot for the fans of the show that are into the burps. But yeah, this is off the top rope 4. This is going to be the one I would want more of in that beer, and I'm pretty good at 4. I wish I knew more about the brewery. Hopefully that closure is just temporary, and they start producing some more fine wares, because more breweries, I think, think help us out, because there's a lot of yums out there for people to enjoy. But that's it for day 14. Tomorrow will be the mothership, and tomorrow's beer is Branch and Bone. So we're going to be excited about that immediately. Black Razeth, which is a 6.5% raspberry sour. That's awesome that's happening on the mothership episode, and the fact that it's Branch and Bone. So we'll be able to give them the forum in which that they should be, because they should be heralded as Dayton's best brewer. But that's it for today's episode. Cheers.